When I think about growing up and all the sports that I played, ultimately my passion was always hunting. You know, I've been lucky enough now to hunt with both my boys, who are now grown men, and even my daughter, and my wife is an avid hunter. So we do it all the time.
There's one shot is going to present on a big animal, and you've got to make sure it counts. So the products have to work every time.
I grew up hunting with my brothers and always wanted to be hunting as much as possible.
Get together, have a good time, hunt, socialize, talk about the business, talk about things going forward, but really just celebrate the successes of a good year partnership.
You guys are passionate outdoorsmen in Australia, and we recognize that. And so it's important for us to make sure that we're doing both sides of our business in Australia to absolutely the best. And that's why we have Nye as a partner.
You know, we get the build-up of the hunt before we come, the excitement leading up to it, the travel to, you know, magnificent parts of the world. We come here. There's a couple of days of preparing and getting ready to come into camp.
You will never find better mule deer or elk in a one concentrated location. You may get some in New Mexico or in Colorado. You will find really good animals throughout the United States.
We have approximately about 400 public hunters that come on the ranch throughout the hunting season.
We have a real unique diversity of guides up here. I have some guys that have just finished school. I have some that are actually still in school. I have other guides that work for me for 20, 25 years now.
I think we're seeing it with a lot of the new hunters that are coming in, is that we're seeing it is a lifestyle. And so there's so much more to it than taking a shot or pulling back and letting an arrow fly, right?
We manage the populations not through harvesting bucks or bulls. We do it through the antlerless or the doe harvest or the cow harvest on the elk.
You know, that's part of the lifestyle, and I think we're seeing that. We're seeing this growth in this hunting piece of it as performance, as a place to enjoy friends and family, have a great time together, and I think that's a big part of it.
Whether you get an animal or not, whether you get a shot or not, you know, it's magnificent to be out hiking and having a look at the countryside.
And so when the opportunity arose that I was able to make it my career, I jumped at the opportunity.
Well, this is a special week for us. We come to Utah once a year to hunt elk and mule deer. We've always been known for our ruggedness. I mean, if you're going to go somewhere in a tough spot, you want a loophole. You know we're going to work. We guarantee performance. 2-turn dials, 0 lock. I mean, we've added a lot to our scope line and our observation line that has really stepped our game up. Rob's a great guy, and getting a chance to hunt with him and spend some time in camp. Nye does a great job in the Australian market for the Leupold brand, and we're just excited to have him join us out here.
We are outside of Morgan, Utah, up at a 200,000 acre ranch in the wilderness, the Utah wilderness. You have such a high concentration of really good elk, mule deer, antelope, moose, bear, anything you could really imagine. It's a sportsman's paradise here. Wild Country Outfitters is the guide group or the organization that takes all of us hunters around and makes sure that we're successful, and they know where all the animals are. They take care of them throughout the year and make sure that we age animals correctly and find what everyone's looking for and just make sure everyone has a really nice time.
One of the things that we've really emphasized for many, many years on this particular place is age class with the animals that we harvest. We don't worry about necessarily how big they are. What we're looking at is we want to only harvest the old, mature animals. The state of Utah has done a nice job. We're able to do a lease program with a bunch of partners, some in the hunting industry, some in the fishing industry, some just private individuals, some in the trucking industry. When we put a lease together for them, the first thing they say is, yeah, I'm really interested in the hunting lease. And I tell them, no, that's not what we do here. What we do here is we want conservation partners.
And hunting is conservation. And if you look at, for example, we're out here hunting this incredible amount of elk that you see on this property. And the reality of that is 100 years ago, there was an elk like this. In fact, they were getting decimated. And so we have the largest elk population we've ever had right now, and that's because of hunters.
You know, first and foremost, this is a cattle ranch, but we manage it proactively for the wildlife also. We actually use one to enhance the other. We're actually in a contract with the state of Utah. What we have is called a Cooperative Wildlife Management Unit program. It's actually put into a population model. We know how many we have to harvest to maintain the level of populations we have right now.
We say hunting is conservation because what you're doing by putting those dollars into the fish and game community, you allow for proper wildlife management and more access to public lands and more access to private lands.
These guys are not necessarily in our hunting lease program. What we consider them to be is conservation partnership that we're in with them, because we do a lot more here than just go hunting. And one of the things I talk about in our orientation, the very first night that everybody gets here, it's not about the destination, the kill. It's all about the journey. So main thing, enjoy the journey, please. If you have any questions, I'm around all week.
First, we're starting out, we've got the Kimber Mountain Ascent in the green stock. We put a VX6 HD 3-18 scope on here, and we went ahead and had it custom anodized to match the barrel just to make it look a little bit unique. We have the custom CDS dial that's set up for the ammunition that we're shooting here. In this case, it was a 300 Win Mag. We also had our BX5 HD Sandium binoculars out there, which gives a crisp image. We had our new RX2800i rangefinder out there, which is the fastest, longest ranging commercial rangefinder on the market. And then I also put on here a suppressor just to help with recoil reduction and sound.
First morning on the, before the hunt, everyone's excited and big hot breakfast. So we drew Tom, who's the manager of the property, lead guide. So we were the A team.
We checked the guns out, made sure all our equipment was in good shape, binoculars, spotting scopes, everything that's essential to elk hunting here in the Rockies.
We pulled up in an area which was pretty renowned for elk.
As we got over there and light started to break, our presumptions were right. There were elk in numerous canyons over there.
As we got out, we stopped a couple of different times to try and hear the elk bugling and calling.
And as we glassed around and looked for them, we found what we thought would be a good, mature, specimen of elk that we have here on the ranch.
So we sort of picked up on a couple of bull calls, which sounded pretty promising. And then we took a hike in to have a look and see if we could spot these animals we were hearing.
Started down off the hill and got down in there and we saw the elk that we wanted, but the distance between where we was and where he was, was a bit of a question mark.
Simply just from the environment and the terrain you're in, we're at 8,000 feet, which is about 2,500 to 3,000 meters. It's hard to breathe just walking.
As usual, they do just exactly what you hope they don't do. He went the other way with his cows. So we hiked back up out of there and came in and added a complete different direction.
A fairly long hike in to try and get into a position where we could track the animal and put a decent stalk on.
sat down, hoping the bull would come into our distance, which, as with elk hunting does, he didn't, and kind of kept working away from us, so we sat patiently.
And we were seeing ranges of greater than 400 yards, and we just weren't confident to take a shot at that range across a valley.
And as they moved into the trees, we kind of made our move and got a little bit closer.
So yeah, you get into position and then you wait and you hope, and you hope you've put yourself in the right spot.
So I had the thoughts of, hey, let's go back to the lodge, back out of here real slowly, go back to the lodge and have some lunch, when we heard another bull bugling pretty darn close.
We had to move a couple times. Luckily, we did not spook the animals, so we were able to get in close.
Eventually, you know, it managed to walk its way a little bit up higher on the hill. It came into shot and very quickly had to get into a position to be able to get a clear shot. And then the animal presented broadside, was nice and stationary. First shot went straight behind the shoulder, in through the vitals, and the animal was down almost instantly. Holy hell, that is a beauty. Oh.
So Rob's shot was actually a very steep angle, and we were able to know that his true shoot-to distance was a lot less than what the actual line of sight distance was, which is why he was able to make such a successful shot.
You know, we have to wait until you're in that right position and we really get the good shot that's going to bring the animal down quickly and is going to have the maximum effect.
There's rules in the United States that are called wanton waste laws, which make it absolutely illegal to waste any animal meat.
A big majority of them love to eat wild game. It's 100% natural. There's no steroids, there's no antibiotics ever put in these wild animals, so it is some of the best protein that you can put in your body.
So what we do after we harvest the animal is that we butcher it up there in the field and haul it out, and then we'll take it to a meat processor where it will be cut into steaks or ground into hamburger or turned into beef jerky or whatever type of food the person who's going to be consuming that meat wants.
It's a lot harder than going down to the supermarket and just getting it out of the cold storage area.
They'll donate the meat, and that meat goes into our meat processor, and that hunter, conservationist, he pays for the processing, and then we donate it to needy families. And there's lots and lots of needy families that are very appreciative.
Yeah, so we've had a very long relationship with Leupold. You know, Leupold is committed to NIA and us to them and to the Australian shooters.
Yes, phenomenal week. The company couldn't be better. The facilities are fantastic. The animals have been great. You can see the weather behind me has been cooperating. It's really been a spectacular event.
The time, effort and expense on a once-in-a-lifetime hunt that we've just had, it has to work, and it did. And that's having that good quality product. You know, it's priceless at the point of time when you really need it to work. So the whole Leupold family not only helped prepare for the hunt, but came on the hunt. So it was excellent.
You couldn't ask for a better place to do it on than we are here, but the amount of wildlife that we get to see, I can't imagine doing anything different.
Getting to see the products being used firsthand, building those relationships, and to make sure that we're delivering the absolute best quality experience for the Australian shooter.